Gross motor skills. Your child needs to move in order to gain control of his or her body. At kindergarten and later at school, he or she will want to race around, climb trees, and be among the best and fastest when it comes to gym. But this doesn't just happen. Your child will only be able to run as well and fast as the others through practice. Running and climbing are not things you learn in an apartment. So if possible, your child needs to spend an hour a day at a playground or in a garden. Here, your child will also learn by imitating what others do. For a child, imitation is the simplest form of learning something, so it helps if you also take the time to run around and exercise with your child. If you want to have some special fun together, you can also do gym together regularly. At Mucki or Wacky gym courses, your child will learn some movements that are otherwise not always possible to practice. The spacious gym halls and apparatus invite them to tumble around and try out new things. And if you're there too, your child will find the gym classes even more fun. In Bern, there are opportunities in nearly every district for parents and their kids to enjoy gym together. You can find out where and when at the website sportamt-bern.ch. There are many public playgrounds in Bern. They provide safe equipment, meaning that you will soon be able to let your child play on them alone. When playing with other children on the same equipment, your child also learns to assert himself and to share. This is important for getting along at a later stage, at kindergarten or at school. Practicing letting go and becoming independent. You will need to let your child go at some point, and at the latest on his or her first day at kindergarten. So it's good to practice letting each other go before then. Regular visits to a playgroup, for example, are an excellent opportunity for this. For parents with little time to spare, there are opportunities to receive support from the city. There are various playgroups available that permit your child to come into contact with others and learn new games. Find out more from the website schulamt-bern.ch. By playing, your child will learn to get along with kids he or she doesn't know and realize that some of them come from different countries and cultures. Fine motor skills. Fine, precise movements need to be learned as well as tumbling and racing around, so it's good for your child to practice crafts, drawing and painting. For painting, it's a good idea to let your child paint whatever he or she wants to at times, meaning without a painting book or example to copy. Language and speaking. One of the most important skills that your child must practice is speaking. Children learn to speak by listening and by speaking. Reading a book to your child is a good opportunity to practice speaking. Either read aloud or describe in simple terms what the pictures in it bring to mind. When doing this, make sure that your child is as physically close to you as possible. That way, he or she can feel how the sounds are formed and how the breathing should flow. If you ask a question about the stories now and then, you are helping your child to listen actively and to express an opinion. Best of all, try and sit together every day at the same time of day for around a quarter of an hour. Parents who speak a foreign language should speak to their children in their mother tongue as much as possible. The better the child knows and speaks his mother tongue, the easier he or she will find it to learn German at kindergarten. For parents who don't speak German, Bern offers various possibilities. At Mucki Deutsch, for instance, mothers can learn German with their children. After a welcoming session for both mothers and children, the mothers are then given time to themselves to practice German with a language teacher.
Und dann die nächste Frage, was für Sprachen sprechen Sie? Also ich denke, Ihre Landessprache, Ihre Muttersprache muss zuerst kommen. Und vielleicht haben Sie eine zweite, eine dritte Sprache. Und hier im Kurs sprechen wir alle Deutsch. Also männlich bedeutet ein Junge und weiblich bedeutet ein Mädchen. Ja, also das ist das Mädchen.
While they are doing so, the kids are supervised in nearby rooms and learn new words. The course lasts a year and costs around 300 francs. Sometimes the costs are subsidized. More information is available at the website primano.ch. And suddenly, it's the age where kids ask questions all the time. Why becomes a permanent feature of their vocabulary. Children now want to discover the world of adults and learn everything they possibly can. One great opportunity for quenching their thirst for knowledge is to visit museums. The city of Bern offers many museums also suitable for children, for instance the Museum of Natural History. The Museum of Communication is just as exciting. Thanks to the simple, interactive technical exhibits, children can touch and use things and discover something new, quite apart from the fun you can have by visiting a museum together. The Paul Klee Center is even more oriented towards kids. Here, your child can create his or her own small works of art under supervision. At the open workshops, you can simply drop in without reserving.
Ich begrüße euch im offenen Atelier. Schön, seid ihr alle gekommen. Wir haben heute das Thema von der Engelslaterne. Wir schauen verschiedene Engel an und wollen eine eigene Laterne machen mit einem Engelbild auf der Vorder- und auf der Rückseite, das ihr am Schluss teilen könnt. Der Paul Klee, der Maler, wo hier ganz viele Bilder ausgestellt sind, hat selber ganz viele Engel gemacht und hat jedem Engel einen Namen gegeben.
Kindergarten for all. There is a cut-off date for entering kindergarten. From 2015, all children who have reached the age of 4 by the 31st of July will go to kindergarten. In 2013, it will still be the 31st of May, and in 2014, the 30th of June. All children who reach the age of 4 before these dates will start kindergarten after the summer holidays. Kindergarten takes 2 years. It's for everyone, no matter what religion or nationality. Kindergarten is an important phase in the life of every child. There are lots of experiences to be made that will be helpful later on at school. Time spent at the kindergarten is important for your child's development. Kindergarten is free of charge for all children. The material needed is made available and parents are not required to pay for it. The city takes good care of its kindergartens and provides the furniture, toys and games and materials. The kindergarten teachers are the bosses here. They're well trained for the job. Today, they obtain their qualifications at the Pedagogic High School. The kindergartens are open to all children. No distinction is made between foreign and Swiss children or those with different religions. There is no religious teaching at the kindergartens. Of course, Christmas and Easter are naturally a topic covered there. But there is no religious issue here. It's simply a matter of Swiss traditions and culture. Therefore, children of other religions can take part in these lessons too. If you as parents work and cannot come home for lunch, your child can go to Tagesschule, even from the kindergarten. Children come here to eat and play games, and older kids can also do their homework here. The kindergarten your child will attend cannot be selected by you. The Schulamt or school's authority allocates which one it is, taking the journey to school into account. The kindergarten allocated is as close as possible to where you live. Basically, parents cannot choose which kindergarten their child will attend, and the issue is not open to discussion. In Bern, children attend kindergarten for 2 years. Material at the kindergarten is provided by the city. Even so, before starting kindergarten, you need to prepare a few things. Slippers that kids can run around in without slipping, an overall for painting, and gym gear, including shoes or non-slip socks for use on the equipment. The kindergarten teacher will let you know in good time exactly what your child will need. At most kindergartens, kids take their own morning snack with them. Fruit, raw vegetables, whole grain bread, cheese and water are ideal. Chocolate, sweets, white bread and sugary drinks are not suitable. Ideally, you should put the snack in a small container for the purpose, without extra wrapping. That way, your child doesn't need to unwrap it all when really hungry. And last but not least, make sure he or she is dressed appropriately, and then everything's in place. It's important to dress your child in clothes that permit him or her to move around easily, and those that he or she can get dirty at times. Kindergarten isn't a fashion show. The kids go outside to play, or for a small excursion, even in bad weather. So your child will need clothes and shoes that bear this in mind, even if you live close by. Getting to kindergarten isn't always easy, and of course getting to grips with traffic isn't something that just happens. The journey to and from the kindergarten is the responsibility of the parents and not of the kindergarten teacher. During the kids' early days at the kindergarten, it is a good idea for parents to accompany them, to show them the route to take and how to behave in traffic. So don't necessarily choose the shortest way, but the safest one. Your child is old enough now to understand the reasons for this. In time, your child will be able to go to the kindergarten unaccompanied. This is a big step, but even if you find it hard, you have to come to terms with it. It's important for your child's self-confidence and independence. To go to kindergarten without mum or dad in tow is an achievement. For greater safety in traffic, make sure your child has rainwear in as light and bright a colour as possible. Umbrellas aren't a good idea because they can block your child's view of the road. Punctuality. Send your child to kindergarten in good time, but not too early. It's not a waiting room. Until kindergarten starts, the door is closed and the kids need to wait outside. That's not only cold at times, but it's always boring. And what's more, you as parents are responsible for your child until kindergarten starts. And now it's time. Your child is starting kindergarten.
Guten Morgen, Kaka.
Der Kindergarten ist ein Ort, wo die Kinder
Kindergarten is a place where kids come to discover and experience things, to have fun, and to learn and assimilate new things as they do so. The children come to us, and we try to build up things together. That's also what kindergarten is for. It's the first time they're part of a community where they need to learn to fit in, to wait.
Anpassen mal, dass man muss warten und können vorher einfach Neugier mitbringen.
All they need to bring with them is their curiosity. If you ask your child, "What did you learn at kindergarten today?" then you'll always get the same answer. "We played." And that's right, we play a lot. Free play is the word we use for the times when the kids are free to choose where they play and what they play.
Wo sie an Orten, an Angeboten spielen, wo sie einfach selber auswählen.
A second important aspect is that of community building. We do projects together where the teachers plan something with a specific aim and know what they are trying to achieve with the kids by doing it. We design morning activities like this. We do some things together and then the kids go and play with whatever they like for a while. We take the morning snack together too.
Man hat ein gemeinsames Znüni, wo man wieder zusammenkommt. Und über das ganze Jahr eingesehen.
If you look at the year as a whole, we could summarize what we're trying to do like this. At first, we need to make sure the kids get used to where they are so they find their way around, make use of what's there, and also get to grips with things.
Und geht's immer weiter auch mit der.
And the community aspects are there all the time. Kids learn to get along with the others, to resolve conflicts, to argue in the right way, what to share, and so on. It's a case of learning a whole lot of small things gradually, day by day, that teach them about what makes up a community. Language skills are part of it too, such as learning about colors or the words for things. For foreign children, language is particularly important. They practice and hear things here that they learn passively at first, but then they start to speak. We do a lot of movement games that develop the kids' motor skills, as they're called, for example, hopping on one leg or balancing. We also learn how to listen properly, and we often have music. In fact, we do a whole lot of things.
Wir lernen gut hören. Wir lernen genau herhören. Wir musizieren viel mit ihnen. Also es ist ganz ein breites Angebot und der Lehrplan sagt, wir haben einen Lehrplan im Kindergarten.
We have a teaching plan at the kindergarten that is based on taking things from the point kids have reached when they arrive and then continuing to develop their capacities and skills. This means we also plan.
Immer wieder etwas dazu. Und so planen wir eigentlich auch. Wir beobachten Kinder.
We watch the kids, take stock of things, and see what the next step would be for them to make progress. The following day, we can maybe offer them something different, or help them develop something in more depth, or encourage them to try something new. We progress step by step and tailor everything to each individual child. No class is like any other, just as each child is different. We have some plans that involve working with the whole class and with targets that apply to them all. These targets are provided for us in the teaching plan, but in an extremely generalized way. We try to achieve them in a very wide variety of ways, using lots of different methods.
Also der Weg ist das Ziel auch schon ein bisschen.
The way to reaching the target is the target itself, you could say. We take the same approach for the whole class, for smaller groups, but also for each child.
Probieren umzusetzen in jedem Halbtag, wo die Kinder kommen.
We note what they do really well already, or areas where they need particular encouragement, support, or help, but we don't give grades and have no grids or work plans that we give to parents.
Wo braucht es Unterstützung, wo braucht es Hilfe, aber wir haben nicht irgendwelche Noten oder ein Gut oder ein Raster oder ein Schema, das wir den Eltern ab.
We just observe, evaluate and plan how to go forward on that basis. This does mean that we report back to parents and that we have contact with them, meaning that there is dialogue. But that doesn't call for evaluation in the conventional
Von
sense.
selber einen Austausch, da braucht es keine Beurteilung im ursprünglichen Sinn.
Working together with parents. The kindergarten relies on collaboration with the parents. Among parents' duties is working with the kindergarten teacher with a view to discussing their child's development and furthering it. Parents' evenings are part of this collaboration between them and the kindergarten, and all parents should consider attendance as being essential. It is an opportunity for the kindergarten teacher to explain what she is aiming for. She is also pleased to answer any questions that parents may have about any aspect of the kindergarten.
Wie haben Sie Möglichkeiten, auf verschiedene Arten zu hüpfen?
Another element of this dialogue is the regular discussion with a child's parents. The kindergarten teacher agrees on a time and date with the parents. The discussion is compulsory for the teacher and the parents alike. During the discussion, the child's development is discussed by the teacher and the parents. It is not an assessment of what is good and bad, but a joint discussion between those who are the most closely involved in the child's education in order to identify the best direction to follow and where efforts should be focused.
Gerne möchte ich euch darüber informieren, in welchem Bereich dass Sie eure Tochter anschauen. Und zwar nennt man das die Basisstützfunktionen bei uns im Kindergarten. Ich schaue die Sprache an, ich schaue die Rezeption an, das ist die Wahrnehmung des Kindes, die Emotionalität, die Soziabilität, wie ist es in der Gruppe, Motorik, Fein- und Grobmotorik, wie ist der Bewegungsapparat des Kindes, Kognition, das Denken, das Gedächtnis.
It is important to realize that parents do not have the right to correct the work of the kindergarten teacher. The teacher is free to design tuition at the kindergarten on the basis of the teaching plan. She is trained to do so and knows what she's doing.
Sie kann jetzt viel in ihrem Zimmer sein und fährt an basteln, Sachen. Da ist ein enormer Sprung passiert.
During the spring, before your child starts primary school, his or her kindergarten teacher will invite you to a further discussion. This time, it will be a case of deciding whether your child is ready to attend primary school or not.
Sie ist dort gerne kreativ. Sie tut eben viel Gedichte, sie tut oft Gedichte vortragen, wo man vielleicht die erste Strophe oder so kennt man, oder hat man schon mal gehört, und sie tut das dann weiterführen und tut erfinden, fortlaufend, oder auch Lieder tut sie erfinden und singen auf dem Balkon.
For many children, kindergarten is a completely new situation. They will be away from their parents and in the company of other children regularly for the first time. This means that the parents may get to know some sides of their kids that they had never previously encountered. Perhaps your child is suddenly no longer as outgoing as before, or starts to show off. Aggressive behavior is one possibility, while other kids may become quieter or withdrawn.
Wenn ein Kind auffällt,
If a child's behavior is really striking in one way or another, the first step is to contact the parents and discuss what's going on, how the child behaves at home, and what the possible causes could be. If that doesn't really help, then it's possible to get advice from the education department, whose psychologists can help find out what's going on and what sort of support the child needs to start behaving in a way that doesn't set him or her apart from the others. You and the kindergarten teacher form a team that together looks after your child. So it's better to talk to her too much than too little. Working at a kindergarten is demanding. As well as looking after the kids, the teacher needs to prepare and plan a great many things. she needs to attend supplementary training courses on a regular basis. The tasks and duties of both kindergarten teachers and parents are laid down in the legislation relating to schools. The teacher is responsible for the child during the attendance hours at the kindergarten and may not simply send children home or leave them unsupervised. This is a great responsibility. All the same, kindergarten teachers aren't on duty around the clock. They also need some time to themselves when off duty, so it's only reasonable to respect that. It's not only the teacher who has responsibilities, though. The parents must also play their part. A kindergarten isn't like a self-service store. As parents, it's your duty to ensure that your child attends every day. If he or she is ill, you must notify the kindergarten teacher without delay, and preferably by phone just before the day starts. You must not send children who are unwell to kindergarten. They cannot be cared for properly there, and they could pass their illness on to others.
Ja, Sophia geht es gerade nicht so gut. Jetzt hat sie Kopfweh und es ist ihr schlecht und sie hat, glaube ich, auch noch ein bisschen Fieber. Und jetzt kommen wir heute Morgen lieber nicht in den Kindergarten, sondern bleiben daheim.
Holidays. Kindergarten holidays are the same as those for schools. Children have 13 weeks holidays per year and are not entitled to take holidays outside the specified periods. For special events, they are allowed 5 half-days per year, which can be taken as and when the parents so wish. Kindergarten hours are every morning from Monday to Friday, plus 1 afternoon. This leaves plenty of time for activities outside kindergarten. At the outset, mornings at the kindergarten can be really tiring for kids, but they soon get used to it. Then they get going again after lunch and can enjoy exciting, important things in the afternoons. Among the most important things about kindergarten is that your child plays with lots of other kids. Encourage your child, without pressure, to invite a friend from kindergarten over to play from time to time. Kindergarten is the beginning of your child's schooling. After the first 2 years at kindergarten, a child moves on to the first grade, which is the beginning of primary school. Primary school has 6 grades and is attended by all children who are all taught the same classes. For children who are able to attend normal primary school lessons, but in certain areas have particular difficulties, special teaching is provided. After clarification, they will be given special support. For children with impaired learning ability or learning difficulties, there are classes with special support. This provision is also available for children who need special attention due to behavioural problems. Another possibility to facilitate entry into primary school is that the first grade curriculum is divided over 2 years. These 2 years then count as 1 school year. From the 3rd grade, French will also be taught at school. After the 6 years of primary school, children move on to one of 2 types of school from the 7th year. The more intellectually gifted will attend a Sekundarschule and the others a Realschule, both of which have a 3-year curriculum. From the 7th grade, pupils are given career guidance, meaning they are provided with information that will help them decide on what sort of training or further schooling to take. We now know a whole lot more about the kindergartens and the school system in the city of Bern. But without doubt, the most important thing of all is that you can always get in touch with your child's kindergarten teacher. If you have questions or aren't sure about something, but also if there's something you're not happy about, just talk to the teacher. Together, you can make your child's time at kindergarten into an important, lasting experience for the future. For further information on this topic and to find out about what kindergartens offer, please visit the websites primano.ch and schulamt-bern.ch.